95.9 FM, WGBB Radio. Welcome to the Joey Petroni Show. Thank you for tuning in. We have a very special night tonight. We have American Bikers for Awareness Training Education. We have a special guest, Chris Beckhans. Welcome, Chris. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
You're welcome. So I love what you guys do. You spread awareness for safety for motorcyclists that are out there driving around. You're educating in schools, you were just telling me?
Absolutely, yes. We're in driver's ed classes now that New York State passed the law. It's mandatory they discuss motorcycle awareness in school, so the teachers don't have to get involved with doing it. We do it for them. So it's pretty awesome.
That is great. Starting early, because my kids are just starting to drive, and I'm constantly telling them, I love what I saw. Count how many motorcycles you see on the road.
It's awesome. It's good stuff. If you get them looking while they're in the car, whoever's driving the car is usually going to be paying attention as well. So it works out really well.
Right. And then you'll be looking for motorcycles.
Yep.
So I drive a motorcycle myself.
You drive or ride?
I ride a motorcycle. Well, I drive it. But I do ride a motorcycle, and it's getting crazier and crazier. And it's nice to spread awareness. The left turn is the one that is the biggest problem out there. The biggest.
Absolutely. Left turn is the major incidence. It causes motorcycle fatalities. The problem with the left-hand turn is not only the drivers making the left-hand turns, but the riders that know the left-hand turns exist and do nothing about it. So we have to ride proactive, knowing that there's a situation. If you know nothing about it, you become part of the problem. So we have to be diligent ourselves when we ride.
Right. You have to keep your eyes out. Yeah, I'm constantly looking.
Absolutely. And don't pay attention to turn signals because they usually don't mean anything.
Exactly. You're right. You can't trust the turn, especially on a motorcycle. You cannot trust the turn signal.
You always got to watch the wheels, where the wheels are turned.
Right. They're facing forward. Right. So there's a human being on that machine. That's the one thing that, when you're on a motorcycle, it's just you and the road, really. And a lot of people don't realize when they're up against a car, it's not gonna, it's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, it doesn't work out too well. Unfortunately, cars have bumpers and doors, and motorcyclists only have legs. There's fenders in front and rear, but there's not a lot of protection there. So we definitely have to be extra careful out there.
So look twice and save a life.
Absolutely, it's one of the slogans for sure. Because when you look left, you look right. You always look back left again, because by the time you look right and left, that second left turn, you can see somebody pulling up, and you wouldn't normally see them.
Right.
Yeah, motorcyclist, you can hide a motorcycle coming in the distance by the size of your thumb. So that's all it takes to miss a motorcycle, and then you're going to destroy somebody's life and possibly their family's life.
Right. Loud pipes save lives, and that's not in today's world so much, because these guys have boom boxes in the back of their cars, right?
That's so true.
How loud is that radio in the car?
And half the time they're still not paying attention anyway. Even if they can hear you, they're not really realizing it because they're playing on their phone, or they're texting, or they're not paying attention. They're worried about whose kids are going to soccer practice and this and that. So with all the distractions today, learning how to ride and being more diligent on the bike is probably, I hate to say it out loud because they're going to hate me for it, but it'll do more savings than the exhaust will.
Right. No, I agree. I'm riding. I'm noticing even on side streets now, people blowing stop signs. You think you're home and you're in your neighborhood and you're safe. You can't even relax on the side streets.
No, definitely not. You can't relax at all on a motorcycle anymore, because the options, the possibilities of being in a fatal accident, it's just that simple.
Right.
If a kid runs out in front of you, or a deer runs out, and you're in the neighborhood, you're cruising, all of a sudden a wild animal runs out, or even worse, a car comes out in front of you, back into the driveway. They don't look for motorcycles.
Right.
That's a big thing. That's part of our campaign. We do motorcycle awareness. May is Motorcycle Awareness Month. So what we do is we have PSAs on the radio as well. We do videos. I do a lot of sharing on social media, Facebook as well as Instagram, on things to look, how to act around motorcycles, and the damages that can happen. And sometimes it's very eye-opening, and hopefully it sticks. And then everybody gets to enjoy the road safely together.
You were saying in the schools that you're showing some kind of graphic videos to really drill into these kids' heads.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We have a 90-minute presentation that has a lot of crash situations, because we don't like to use the word accident.
Yes.
A lot of these crashes, they're avoidable. Accidents aren't really avoidable. A lot of these are. And what it is the impact that these kids have. There's a texting video in there that a girl is in there with a car with three other girls, and the car gets hit, and she looks over, and her girlfriend is dead.
Right.
And then the car gets hit again.
Oh, right.
So now the kids are like, oh my God, that's what happens when you don't pay attention. Right. Things can happen, and sometimes you have to be pretty graphic about it, Something simple as sunglasses is very important, because if you don't see what's in front of you now, you have a taillight that's the size of your fist.
Right.
First, on a motorcycle that's as wide as your arm in front of you, and you don't see it, it could be death. And so it's very important.
You were saying that an animal can run in front of you, or a kid can run in front of your motorcycle. I was actually on Montauk Parkway coming up and over the bridges, and a seagull came down. Yeah, I mean,
that's no joke. We got a story about that.
Yeah, you would never think in a million years it lined up. I mean, I had to duck down. I mean, it came down right in front of my face.
Oh, it could take you right off the bike if you don't have a windshield. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a funny story about a seagull. Unfortunately, a friend of mine was riding her shovel. She's got an old shovel, and the seagull was picking at the roadway, whatever roadkill was out there. And she actually hit the seagull, and it got stuck in her crash bar, and it died. She had to pull it off, pull it off.
Right.
So it was pretty brutal. But things can happen on motorcycles. It's not like you're in a car.
Right.
I like to tell people, when you're in a car, you're watching a movie. When you're on a motorcycle, you're in the movie. It's just that real. You know what I mean? It's pretty awesome.
Yes. So how long have you personally been riding?
On and off, probably about 40 years.
Wow.
I started picking up as a kid. I rode dirt bikes. Of course, we rode safely back then, right? Always wore a helmet and all that stuff. But then I put it down, I guess, about, 18 to 20, and it was like a 10 or 15-year gap. And then I picked it back up one day, I think like 1998, I picked it back up, and I needed a bike, and I got a bike, and I've been riding ever since. I got involved with Long Island ABATE, a good friend of ours, Steve Sorensen, God rest his soul. He was a big motorcycle advocate for safety. He had a school. He got me to join. Once I joined, I ran up through the ranks. I became sergeant at arms in an organization. Now, we're not a club. We're a non-for-profit 501c3.
Right.
So it's a non-for-profit organization. So it's not a club, not to get confused with clubs are out there. So then once that sergeant at arms happened, then I became second VP. And then I was in that position for a while, and then the president stopped down, Jim Barr, he stepped down. And I took the reins from there. And July 2024, it's going to be 4 years we're running this organization with the help of everybody involved. I take the credit and I redistribute it. I'll take the heat when stuff goes wrong.
Right.
But when the good things happen, it's everybody else's fault. It's good stuff.
How big is the organization? How many members?
We got about 1,800 members between here and countrywide, because when we meet nationally at 2 different conventions throughout the year, and we reciprocate. Like, I'll be part of 12 or 15 different motorcycle rights organizations just to share the information, and they'll do the same.
Right.
So they're not necessarily, you don't have to be a motorcyclist to join. You just have to believe in what we fight for, and you don't have to be from the state to join, to support. And what it is networking. We network nationally, all the information that goes on. In Texas, if you make a left-hand turn without a directional, you can get locked up for that.
Wow. Well, hey, listen.
It's crazy. It's a Wild West.
Yeah, but come on, I like that. I mean, what's it going to take for people to put the blinkers on?
But if you're on your motorcycle and you make the same left, you get locked up because you didn't hit the directional. There's nobody around, so it's not just cars.
Right.
So we lobby. We share that information nationally. I was telling you earlier that New York wants to keep kids under 12 off motorcycles. That's a relationship you can't replace. I personally, that affects me hard. Like I said, that has. The second 6 years of my daughter's life was on the back of my bike, and we had a bond that you can't compare.
It's the bond, 100%, but it's also now your child is how old?
Now she's 31.
Right, but that learning that she got, you can't, if the earlier they start on the back of your motorcycle, the more comfortable they'll be.
Oh, absolutely. When she sees a bike on the road and it's by itself, she'll actually sit behind him and block him and guard him and just let him know that he's there, because she's aware. She's been brought into it since she was a little kid. She sat on the gas tank when she was 4 years old, chubby cheeks flapping around when things running.
Right.
It was great. It's great stuff, you know. And it's great. It really is to get people involved. I mean, we do street fairs and stuff. We actually have coloring books too for the young kids.
Nice.
Which are different motorcycles. We have sport bikes, cruisers, word search, all kinds of stuff. And again, it's all an awareness. We have the books which say count license plates. Like you used to have the punch buggy game when you're in the car.
Right.
How many motorcycles have you seen? What color? How many riders? What state's the plate in? And again, whoever's driving the vehicle is going to be alert and aware of what they're doing as well. So now that's a double win.
Right. No, it is. And how many motorcycles did you see today? It's just like one of those. Even your kids aren't even in the car anymore. And as a parent, you can still be more aware.
Absolutely. And it's good, like you said, you get them started young, and if the parents are paying attention, it's a double win. We all share the road safely.